Hi again at Seahawks training camp. Well, now preseason practice, almost regular season practice. Gregg and Dave Boling in the News Tribune. Tuesday's practice, 2 days before the third preseason game, and it marked the first time that Jahri, the 11-year veteran, 4-time All-Pro with the New Orleans Saints, who the Seahawks recently signed, first time he was in the starting lineup because Jermaine Ifedi had an oblique strain. Offensive coordinator Darryl Bevel said Ifedi was out, Jahri Evans was in, back to where he's been starting for 10 years with the Saints. I keep asking myself this, Dave, can you imagine, I know there was an acclimation period, but can you imagine the Seahawks offensive line, as subpar as it's been, as inexperienced as it is, not using a 10-year veteran with 4-time All-Pro?
Sure, I can imagine it, because I don't think he's been working out since February. He probably had some questions about where his career was headed, even if he had a career left. The fact that the Seahawks were in such need was maybe why they ended up with him in the first place, and why they'd kind of take a chance on a guy who has had a spectacular career, probably a Hall of Fame type career. And at his age, he just turned 33, I believe, it took a while, as Coach Bevel talked about today. He really isn't used to practicing the way the Seahawks practice. They are all about tempo and speed, and Coach Cable likes him to learn under duress, which means they're taking snaps quickly. Every time the ball is hiked, they got to know where they're going. There's something different. They're confronted with something different on each play at a rapid rate, so their mind is trained to be sharp in over a short period of time. For Jahri Evans, learning the new scheme, understanding who his teammates are, and so much of the offensive line is collaborative effort. He was a little slow to pick up, as you would expect. Is he going to be ready to start and play and contribute? We'll have to see. It's asking a lot of somebody to be ready to play over a long haul at the kind of tempo in a new scheme at his age.
I talked to Evans today. He's amazed at how the Seahawks don't practice in pads, and even shoulder pads. He said the Saints practice far more, almost every day, in full pads, not just shoulder pads. The Seahawks were in full pads today. They were in shoulder pads and shorts yesterday. The other thing we noticed was the running back situation changed a bit, because finally C.J. Prosise, the rookie third-round pick, was in the offense fully going. First time he's practiced since fully like that since July 30th, when he pulled his hamstring, strained his hamstring. Looks like he'll play Thursday against the Cowboys. The running back situation is finally crowded, Dave.
It was kind of crazy. This may have been the first day that everybody was on the field at the same time,
including Thomas Rawls.
So the question is, Thomas Rawls is the big issue. If Thomas Rawls can return to anywhere close to 100%, they've got a real guy there, somebody to carry the load. That, I think, for a rookie year, really proved himself. They know what they have in Thomas Rawls. We have yet to see if he is 100% or anywhere close to it. Easing him back in is a luxury they have had because of the quality play of Christine Michael. And we've heard Coach Carroll say, you know, maybe we've got a 1-2 punch there, and maybe we can rotate some backs in there. It's not historically the way they've gone to it, but it might be what they do in the early season. And I think with those two guys particularly, and maybe Prosise coming in as a third down back, they seem a little bit loaded.
There's no doubt, I've written this, there's no doubt that Christine Michael has accomplished the trust factor he sought out with the Seahawks this second time around. He's much more trusted. That was the problem a year ago, why they shipped him to Dallas for a 7th-round pick. They didn't trust him. They didn't trust him to do the work ethic, didn't trust him to do the plays and get the playbook. He's doing all that and more.
And what he's proven is he can catch the ball as well. And if he can do that, then all of a sudden Prosise's return as a third down back may not be so critical.
That makes Zach Brooks, 7th-round pick from Clemson, an endangered species of some kind, because part of the reason they drafted 3 running backs in May was they weren't sure what they could trust in. Christine Michael, they found out here in this month he could trust him. I also talked to Doug Baldwin after practice briefly, actually more than briefly, about the scuffling of the nature of this month. He had some interesting things to say. That'll be in tomorrow's News Tribune about that. Gregg and Dave Boling will be here tomorrow for a very light walkthrough practice, and then Thursday's exhibition game at CenturyLink Field. Darryl Bevel, the offensive coordinator, confirming the Seahawks starters will play into the third quarter. Thanks for watching.